Hey everyone, it's Stephanie, and today I am really excited. We are starting something new. We are calling it the Plan and Share, and it's a little bit of a more casual way for us to share our actual planners with you. So today I am going to share with you something that I'm really excited, very passionate about, and it is the first 5 months of my wellness planner. It's been something I've started since January and have been faithfully planning every day since then, and I'm so excited to share with you how I put it together and how it's helped me on my wellness journey. Let's walk through my wellness planner. I Frankenplan this baby. I think this cover is from an old fitness planner. I think one of the most important things is to make sure that whatever you do, it works for you. And this is one of those dividers that I love and is really inspiring for me since I love the beach. In December, Hannah and I had set some goals for our Goal Getter series, and mine was obviously getting in shape and getting healthy. And I set up a planner the way I thought I wanted it to work. Some things that I thought were going to work for me did, and others didn't. And so along the way, I have customized this planner to really work for me. And you'll see towards the end, I really have a system now that I love. So I'm just gonna do a flip through and show you how I've set that up. So this is one of the things that I included later on. I thought this is a cute idea. I wanted to see just the kind of visual proof, I guess, of the fact that I was making some progress. So I decided to use these page protectors and put a kind of a face shot of me during a month, and then also kind of a full body shot so I can see the progress. So I went through and used stickers here in the center to show this was back in December, and then at the end of each month I would make sure, unless it was this one, which I didn't do it, to get a shot of my face, which is where I think I can see a lot of my progress. All of a sudden, when you have those times when you're a little not sure you're making any progress whatsoever, you can see, oh my gosh, I am. So I have myself set up for the rest of the year, and I love this addition. In our wellness extension pack, this is one of my favorite things, is starting off just really figuring out how you can practice self-care along the journey. So I filled this page out 3 different ways that I thought might work for me. I wrote a note to myself and I keep that in the front. And this is one of those things that I would really encourage you to do. Sometimes we're nicer to other people than we are to ourselves, and just creating a little note to yourself to cheer yourself along the way is really helpful. I put in a motivational picture up in the front, printed out a photo that was the same size as the pages in my classic sized planner, and then punched it. And then I think I just attached it to the back of this other sheet. This was a time in my life where I felt like strong and proud, and I used that as motivation as opposed to a magazine clipping, because I don't look like that girl. I look like that girl. Okay, so then I start every month by using this goal sheet, and I have in here a place where I can set some goals, put down here what's inspiring me, and then 3 areas where I can say how I'm strengthening my mind, my body, and my soul. And I have found that doing this once a month instead of setting here's my goal for 6 months, that way it gives me a chance to really reflect on what's working and what isn't. So this was back in January, and this is really just kind of a practical guide so I can show you how I use this. So I use the month layout here as like a tracker. So depending on what I'm tracking, I always have my weight. I put a little highlight mark at the beginning of every month and right down here in the bottom, and track my weight daily. For me, that works. I'm not promoting it for everyone, but for me, that works. I track when I walk, different things, if I'm taking my blood pressure or if I'm sick, just kind of all different things. This is a month at a glance for me, and it's really helpful when I look back and think, ooh, I want to see how I'm making progress or not. And of course, stickers are the perfect thing for me for that. So January 1st, I like to include photos sometimes. I really like to include journaling in my planner, whether it's fitness or my days. It's really helpful for me to see where my mindset is. At the beginning of the year, I decided that I was going to start wearing my trusty Fitbit, and I want to track what kind of activity that I have. Like, am I moving? Am I sedentary? And then I also track my workouts, which basically are walking or hiking with a Runkeeper. So a way to include that in my planner is I just use my phone to capture the data for the day, right? So the highlights of how many steps I have or what that particular walk looked like, and then I include that in my planner. Let me show you how I do that. So I think it's really helpful to see just how I capture and save those images. Okay, so now that you know how to capture those images, if you want to use that, you can always just use some adhesive and add them to your planner. Back in January, this is how it was working for me. So I would put my exercise in this top section, and then I would put my Fitbit recap for the day down here. You can see I started tracking my calorie deficit at that point, and then did just a little bit of journaling down here at the bottom. And you'll see I've changed it a little bit. So as it went on, the next day, all of a sudden I thought, it feels better for me. Don't even ask me why. But to have Fitbit at the top, my daily recap, and then to change my all my workouts down here in the center, and then do a little bit more journaling down here. I find that it's really helpful to be super honest with your journaling. I know a lot of people want to do things, kind of for the gram and for the shot, and it's a little personal. But if I'm going to take the time to actually journal in my planner, I want to really get an idea of what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. That's the only way that I'm going to really make progress. I try and make my journaling down here very honest. Like this one today was frustrating, and then the other one I said I feel out of shape, and I also put in there when I feel proud. So I would encourage you to really keep that journaling honest. So this is January. I used this kind of thing as a place to track some of the goals that I wanted for the week. Of course, adding stickers for the motivation or throughout the week is always helpful and cute. So here's one of those, it's a real kind of a week. I got sick, and instead of just letting it go, I just used some big stickers here to really show you how I was feeling. I felt sick and I was frustrated because I was really trying to make some progress and feeling good. And but I think keeping track of this really made a difference for me. Okay, so what I was saying too is that I only set goals for the month. I look at long-term goals. If I focus on 4 weeks at a time or 1 month, if something's not working really quickly, it becomes that next month. At the beginning of each section, before that month, try to set these goals after you've already completed them. Like after January, it was at the end of January before I set the goals for February. So I can see where I was. Okay, and then February is really cute wine sticker, so I started tracking that. I loved that way to look over the month. Again, you can see I'm kind of finding my zone where I like having here the Fitbit and then my Runkeeper recaps. Another thing I started to do is just highlight some areas that I wanted to kind of highlight. So down here, like yay me or self-care, just as a way with a lot of journaling that, it kind of helps them pop off the page. And these are my favorite. People ask all the time, and I know these are from Zebra. They're called mild liners, and I usually just stick with a couple different colors for a layout, but I find that their colors are really cute. So mild liners, and they have this chiseled tip on one side and this like fine point on the other. So I use the mild liners and kind of keep those same colors throughout the planner. So here's another one. You might notice all my green. So on your Fitbit, when you hit all of your goals, one of the choices when you're going through to save is you can get the all green little icon here. And so when I've hit all my goals, it looks green, so I get really excited about that. It doesn't happen often that there's that much, but pretty good, you know, progress, not perfection. So yeah, you can see I started to I include pictures if I want. So one of the things that I think makes the journaling so important is that the weeks don't get away from you. So if you are feeling like, oh man, I'm really having a hard time getting motivated, or I'm having a hard time seeing any progress, then I feel like when you journal, you're giving yourself permission to feel that and move on. So, and you're acknowledging those feelings instead of just kind of hiding them and just kind of denying that they even exist. So it's really been part of my process. In fact, I really think it's been a huge part of my wellness process. So, you know, we all know calorie in, calorie out. We know we had to eat. We know we have to start moving, but it's really that this is kind of the missing piece for me. So I love including that. Okay, so March, I had a big one. I wanted to be in Wonderland, which was below 200. So here was a little bit more of a simpler color palette, and you can see March was a little bit of a struggle for me. Then I walked 5 times in the entire month. So that was not quite as much as I had wanted to. Okay, so March, because I was really busy, and you can see we went to Alt, and instead of beating myself up, I decided to include some of these really fun pictures of things that we did in March. So this isn't just about how many pounds that I've lost. This became a place for me to also be creative, to pat myself on the back, to encourage myself, you know, to use cute stickers that make avocado toast, because that's so exciting. So you can see that even when I'm not walking and losing weight, I am still on a wellness journey, and that is what this is all about. All aboard the struggle bus. You got to have a sticker for that. Please don't even get me started on the fact that I got sick again, but here's a way to journal that. And honestly, even when I didn't do much of anything, it was okay. I kind of look back and give myself a little grace to say, of course, March was a slow month. I had a lot going on. Punching photos like this helps us celebrate victories, like me getting to the top of this mountain. This is basically just a photo that I printed out, and I printed one out on the other side, stuck the 2 of them together with adhesive, and used the Happy Planner punch to punch them so I could include it in my planner. This is all about inspiration. So whether it's an inspirational sticker that you want to include, journaling, a photo, whatever it is that you feel is going to help you through on your journey. And this is all about really for you guys taking a look at what I've done and maybe seeing that you might find a little piece that works for you. Maybe not, maybe it's completely different, and that's totally okay. This is just a little promotional flyer thing, or a little promotional postcard that came in with my Freshly meals. Was one of the things that I decided to start doing because I do not like to cook. So I put that in there because that made me feel like, okay, hey, it's healthy and it's easy and I'm making good choices. And then this was I just used some magazine clippings to see what was inspiring me with Kevin and I going on our retreat to Canyon Ranch. And just being healthy and getting old and being, you know, able to walk around. That was inspiring for me and helped me realize when I didn't want to get up and go on a walk. Just, you know, putting some magazine clippings in there, that helps me and motivates me. So you can see March was pretty down time, and April was OMG, because all I did was work out. I love looking back at this and seeing, okay, you know, these little hearts were, each time, they were alcohol-free days for me. So I knew that I was, you know, I'm like, oh, I love that idea. And it gives you kind of just a visual of what you did. And that's helpful. It is for me. Okay, so this was when we were at Canyon Ranch. I used this little tab, these little, what are these called? Snap-in adhesive tabs, to just stick on one of the little cards I got in my room one day. The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be. So true. And so on this one, we were on vacation, but I brought my zip printer and did the same thing on my phone and printed them out, my recaps, so that I didn't get behind and I really could track some of all that movement that I was doing. And you can tell The zip printer, the color is off a little bit. It's not quite as vibrant as if I printed it out on my big giant photo printer at home, but I don't care. Like, it really was something that I had to get past the perfection. I wanted it done. I wanted to track everything there, and I needed to let go of having the perfect planner, right? So, because to me, I look back here, I'm not freaking out about the color. I'm so excited that every day I tracked what I was doing right in the moment, and that was more important to me. This is kind of where I have pretty much settled. Fitbit at the top, exercise in the center, journaling at the bottom, and then you'll see that I will highlight up here in green so I can just get a real total of my steps, a real quick glimpse. I have tried to now, with this, like this really pretty teal highlighter, this is what I use to show my activity. So I can now glance here and see that these are the different things that where I was actually moving. And then I use the pink down here to highlight in my journaling. Kind of stayed with that kind of thing a little bit as you'll see me go through. I think it's important, like I say, you're tracking your successes and you're tracking your challenges. Like this one, I went and it was the first time in a very, very long time that I was in a dressing room and felt really good about trying something on. And I made sure to include that in my planner so that I gave myself that pat on the back and said, congratulations, not just like, oh, this is a struggler, oh, you know, this is how many pounds, but when it actually just kind of feels good. Don't be afraid to give yourself credit for things and tell yourself you're doing a great job. Okay, so you can see I've been doing this like really faithfully for 5 months. So this was the end of April, and then we got into May. So I'm still going strong. The end of May was great. We had Go Wild, so we were getting really busy prepping for that. And so I really wasn't as active, but again, let me take that and say, okay, this is part of life. So getting ready for it, and then here's what happened in my life. Pictures telling them that I felt really confident in my healthy body, my clothes fit better, and so that is part of my journey. It's not just about the steps, it's not just about the workout or what I put in my mouth. You may notice that I don't track my food in here at all. My FitnessPal, I think, and I would track every single bite that went into my mouth. And personally, it got a little obsessive for me, and so it became not a healthy habit for me. Some people use it and it's a great tool, but I know what to eat, I know how to eat healthy. So for me, it's about moving, activity, and a healthy mindset. And that's why it's not included in mine. However, if it's something you need to include, really tracking that food, and so it becomes a healthy habit for you, there's room here for you to do that. Instead, I'll say like, oh, this is a good meal for me. This was a healthy meal. This felt good. Here is, I started to use this. I think this is from our productivity planner, and I love having here a little focus, and then it has a place to track 2 different kinds of habits, my supplements and meditation, which I clearly killed this week. Not a good job. See, I just kind of have found my groove, and this one, and I'm not sure, it's not quite the end. So one of the last weeks of May, I just was not into it. I was busy at work. I was stressed out. I didn't do really anything. All white. I mean, I don't even know how I even did anything with 2,800 steps. I don't know how I got anywhere, but that was just the week I had. That was my reality. So instead of, giving myself too much, I just said, never give up, just keep going. I've been trying to inspire myself during those tough weeks. And then the week after that, I started, I really kind of got into the groove again. And I decided to take that full body shot at the end of the month so that I could see the progress that I was making and really focus on that. Gave myself this little pat on the back. You got this, girl. And got some more greens. I'm super proud of that. And then had a rest day. So that was my 5 months. And I'm telling you from the beginning, what's exciting for me is to go back, and when you let's take her out, right? Like when you look at this girl compared to where I was, like for me to be able to see the difference between where I was here and here. Yes, I can tell physically just from weight I've lost, like in my face and my body and everything else. But what's even more exciting for me is to be able to see that I'm learning to encourage this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl, no matter where I am on my journey, that I'm able to love myself. And I'm really being honest when I tell you that a lot of that realization came while I started using this planner. So I hope you got some ideas from that, and I can't wait to see what you guys do. Thank you so much for letting me share. This has been such a wonderful journey, and I really and truly appreciate all your kind comments and all the support you've given me. I can't wait to share my next 5 months with you and for the next Plan and Share. As always, live creatively and plan a happy life.